Welcome, everybody, to our fourth quarter all-hands meeting. Welcome. Hope everybody's enjoying the lunch. Great call on the Greek stuff today. Derek's going to be your MC today, but without further ado, we'll turn it over to Will to give us a safety brief.
Just a heads up, I'm going to be sending out an email probably next week if I can remember to do it. The UAA and the Wright Tree Service partnered on a safety video that went to all the UAA members. Brenna was a big part in doing the filming, bringing some people in. So when you see that come in next week to your inbox, I'm going to do an all employees. If you could watch it, send it to friends, family. It's a YouTube type thing. It's 3 people who individually have been impacted by safety in their life. One individual was doing private tree care work, one was a lineman, and one was an individual who came upon a traffic accident. So just a heads up. For the safety brief this afternoon, if you look around to your left and to your right, if anything happens, you need to be accountable for the person to your left and to your right. Taylor? No left, no right. Obstructed view. If we have a medical emergency, there's an AED right through the wall here. If there's a weather event where a tornado, it doesn't look like it, looks to be a blue sky day, we would meet in the tornado shelter area where it's marked back here in between the bathrooms. If there were a fire in this building, we would go out to the edge of the road out here. We would meet as a group. Again, look to your left, look to your right. Make sure that whoever's to your left and to your right are accounted for. Who in the room is CPR first aid certified? So if we have a medical emergency, this is mainly for the guys in the room. If somebody gets up and leaves, let's make sure we're accounting for them. Most guys, when they get up and leave, if they have problems, they don't tell anybody. And they end up going out into their car, into their office. They have a heart attack. They get themselves in trouble. If we have to call 911, I'm going to pick on Mr. Alan Mace. If for any reason we have to call 911, you're going to be our individual that calls 911 if we have a medical emergency. Tell them where we're at. Any questions? All right, I'm going to turn it over to Derek, but before I turn it over, we're going to have a short video to introduce Derek. So, welcome, Derek.
I grew up on a farm. I grew up outdoors. I like being outdoors. So my dad was a agronomist, so he's a soils crops guy. I didn't want to follow this good stuff, so I thought, man, fortunately, I went to Purdue to get a degree in forest management. Think I was going to, log timber and do real forestry stuff. And then when we got there, they said there really weren't any jobs. So I'm going great. They've already cashed my tuition checks. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. And just happened they had co-op positions through the university where you went to school, a semester work, a semester. I interviewed with the utility back then. It was called Public Service Indiana, which is now the energy. Started as a co-op student in utility arboriculture, utility vegetation management. Spent the next 2 years there, going back and forth to school and working. And when I graduated, I went into the industry full time. Graduated with work for electric utility. Worked out of the corporate office as kind of a project forester for a year. I was AED in Indiana, Michigan, so I worked out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Within a year, I was promoted to right supervisor from the 2 division. Was there 8 years, and at that point, I got finished the MBA. I was kind of looking to do something different, and a unique opportunity came along where there was a position as the executive director for the Utility Arborists Association. And at that time, editor for Arbor News Magazine, which was the member magazine for the International Society of Arboriculture. So the dual appointment, I had a utility background. I guess if you're an MBA, you can be an editor. So between the Utility Arbor Association and the certification program for ISA, I was just kind of handling those 2 programs. The next 18 years flew by, and then had the unique opportunity through all my contacts staying involved with the utility industry to kind of jump back in the industry with CN, become vice president of operations. I just kind of moved up. since we started, we've kind of done the same kind of things. We really focused on being a quality company. We focused on being very ethical in the way we do business. We focused on continued improvement. I went in saying I wasn't going to, we were going to pay our people well, we're going to treat them with respect. We weren't going to treat them like a commodity. We really wanted to understand that, they work for CN, and provide professional development and training opportunities. I think we've done this. And if you ask any of the employees, I was just out this week, and I asked them, is there anything we could do better? And no, they said, this is the best company I've ever worked for. And to me, that's like, I've done my job. At least from behind in some ways, I like to put our people out front, give them the opportunities. I like to create and facilitate success for people, and that's where I think my strength is. I can certainly be out front if I need to be, but I'd rather provide the opportunities for other people. And so I really like to have a team that goes by consensus. No one ultimately I may have to make that decision, but I want their engagement, I want their involvement, I want them to own it. And I think that's the other part. I mean, you need to be out there with your employees. They need to see you. If you're not talking to your employees, you don't really know what's going on. So I like to get out there and ask the questions. Hey, what can we do for you? What is something you'd like to see us do as a company? It's pretty straightforward. We don't really, I don't have any desire to be the biggest company, but we do want to be the best company. There's the old saying, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So I think having a plan in place and then working that plan, you can kind of see where you're going. Certainly I want to stay involved right at the corporate level, beyond CN. I want to continue to kind of build that succession, train the leaders for CN for tomorrow and well into the future, make sure the company's in good shape going forward. The crowning achievement for me is seeing just the guys move in and take over the leadership role where I can step back. To me, it's building that next generation of leaders is where I'm at. That's on my bucket list. I want to see the next president of CN be successful. This is a great industry, and it's been good to me, and I'm hoping we can make it good for all our employees. Hi, everyone. That was me. Thanks for letting me MC today. I'm glad to be here, and so thanks for having me. Just to get started, Sarah, I think last week, sent me an email that said, are you all ready to go next week? I go, yeah, I'm working on my jokes right now. And so, one thing I learned, here's a lesson for everyone. If you put something in email, just make sure you could get it read in a court of law. That's what someone told me one time. So I put in the email that I was going to do jokes, so I didn't even take my own advice. So now I've got to do jokes, and Will Nutter said he was just going to come for the jokes. So I figured, okay, so I've got 2 jokes for you. And let me know, because the other thing about humor, too, the other lesson I learned in life is when you use humor, you got to be really careful because you don't always know everybody in your audience. So I Googled clean football jokes. That's my joke. So just to start with, so.
Can we just stipulate that you can tell a joke so we don't have to listen to it?
No, you're going to hear these. I worked hard on these, Scott. So, all right, my first joke is, this is for Will Nutter. Will, what do Nebraska and marijuana have in common? They both get smoked in a bowl. All right, number 2 joke. So I want everybody to think about, it can be high school, it can be college, all right? So think about your arch rival. Okay, for Iowa fans, it could be Iowa State fans, it could be Iowa. All right, so when I point to you, yell out whatever that arch rival is, okay? You ready? Everybody ready for their team? Okay. What do Iowa State and possums have in common? Both play dead at home and get killed on the road. So hopefully I don't have people have pet possums. That would have been, I think, the only people I'd offended today. So I think we're good to go. All right. So to get back on the agenda, and we want to make sure we stay on time today, I'd like to welcome and introduce the 12 new employees to our Wright family since our last meeting in May. And since we don't have a lot of time, I'm not going to read all the names, and I'd probably mispronounce them anyway. So any of the new employees, would you please stand up in the room? How many new employees do we have in the room? A couple? All right. All right, well, welcome aboard. Let's give them a round of applause. In addition to our new employees, we have some folks who are receiving milestones within the company. We'd like to acknowledge some employees who have celebrated work anniversaries since our last meeting, and I'm really pleased to see that's a very long list, so we certainly Won't read those off, but if we have some of those in the room, could we ask those people, if you're on this list, I don't know, do we have it's a big list, so anybody on this list, if you could please stand up. We'd like to give all you a round of applause. So thank you to each of you for what you do for our company. It's exciting to see the longevity in our company, and we're really pleased that you're all still here. So thank you very much. Next up, we're going to welcome Emily Stump, our Training and Development Specialist, to the stage. She's going to give an update on Wright Service Corps University, our learning management system, and some updates on training and development in our company. So let's turn it over to Emily. Let's give her a round of applause.
Yikes. All right. Sorry, I'm a little rusty at presenting, so don't be too hard on me today. So, like Derek said, my name is Emily Stump. I am the Training and Development Specialist. I'm in the Marketing and Communications Department. I'm the one behind the big wall, so just come say hi to me anytime. I'm the one known for blocking off that whole department. Everyone's like, I never see you guys anymore. It's because I block off the whole area with my wall. So I came to Wright Service Corp in March of this year, and prior to that, I was at MetLife for almost 7 years. My last role there was an instructional designer, which probably means nothing to any of you. So in that role, basically what I did was design, develop trainings, curriculum, delivering trainings, consulting subject matter experts on how to facilitate and develop trainings themselves. So today, I just want to briefly share with you guys. Like I said, I'm really rusty, so I have the shaky voice thing going on. So I'm going to share with you future plans and current initiatives for training and development, and just a little bit of background on why we chose an LMS, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that term by now. It's a learning management system, and also when you can expect the WSCU, which is what we like to call it, to the corporate office, and ways that you can help that process. So some of you might already know, just want to give you a little bit of background on training and development for those of you that aren't really familiar. So training and development encompasses all sorts of things. So it's basically any employee learning, and that can be kind of the facilitation of developing current employees and helping them in their career path, or just developing leadership skills and things like that, helping them to grow in their career, as well as onboarding and orientation of new employees as they come on board and into our company. So for some of those that are new, yeah, you're probably familiar with that. So I like to consider myself a subject matter expert on training, much like some of you are subject matter experts on accounting or IT or marketing maybe. So this includes anything from facilitated or in-person training, curriculum development, anything that involves the training of new or existing employees. So since March, I've kind of gotten the lay of the land. However, it's much different than the insurance industry, to say the least. Very different. But I'm still researching trainings that are going on across all the companies and figuring out ways that I can improve, simplify, and streamline those trainings. A lot of the goal is to get some of the stuff that's been pen and paper into the digital age and kind of turn towards technology as a solution for some things. So while creating new training courses as well that we are currently launching out to what I would consider our pilot group right now in WSCU, which right now that's GFs and above, lead cuffs and above, as well as some employees at WAS, and then some supervisors and managers here in the corporate office. So some of you have been getting the courses and know what they're all about. So by a raise of hands before today, who had heard of LMS or WSCU? Okay, so a lot of people, that's good. So what do you all know about the LMS or WSCU? Anything? Nothing? Well, okay, I'm going to show you guys a video. Great video choices. I mean, through that one. I don't know.
A learning management system, LMS for short, is a software application for the administration, documentation, tracking, reporting, and delivery of educational courses or training programs. Boring, right? Our learning management system is called Wright Service Corp University, and it's way better. It's more than your average LMS software. Don't believe us yet? Just keep listening. Wright Service Corp University is our way of connecting each employee within our large, far-reaching company. We care about training and development, which is why WSCU is so important. We started in 1933 as a small company of just our founder and his wife. Now we've exploded into a giant company. We know you've been with the company for years and years, and we know that you're an expert in your position. But we think it's important that each employee reviews the same safety regulations and practices, as well as daily tasks. That's why everyone from our CEO all the way down to our rookie employees are WSCU students.
I like the flexibility of being able to go online for the training, and the benefit of additional training for the employees helps us do our job.
One of the most important aspects of WSCU is its ability to reach all of our employees. When our company started, and for many years after, all of our employees were located within driving distance. Today, that's not the case. It's much harder. We have employees all over the place, all doing different work. Even though it might seem like it, our executives and safety staff aren't superheroes. They can only reach so many people within our company at a time. So we turn to technology for a training solution that makes sense for you, our employees. Now, one training instructor can create an online course that can then be distributed to employees across the country. Way easier, right?
I think it's really cool to know that many of my fellow coworkers across the company are receiving the same training. We are all learning as a unit rather than piece by piece.
The core reason WSCU is so important to our company is because of you, our employees. We care about you, your success, and your development. We want to give you every opportunity to succeed and grow as a leader and professional in your career. Our company works to grow from within, rather than always looking outside. Crazy, right? We know that there's talent here, and it's important to us that we prepare all of our employees for the opportunity to step up into leadership roles if needed. No joking around here. We are serious when we say that we are all a part of one big family. Wright Service Corp University only helps to connect us further.
I am convinced that if we prepare our employees to take on more responsibility, and we do that through education, training, and opportunities for growth, then we will not need to look outside.
The future of our family of companies is bright. The programs offered through Wright Service Corp University will be evolving, ever-changing, and continue to challenge you in your daily job. The programs will change over time and adapt to your training needs so that you can reach your highest potential. This will ultimately make our future even brighter. Now the training is in your hands. Use it to learn, grow, and achieve your goals. Ready, set, go. We invite you to send any input you may have to training and development at wrightservicecorp.com.
All right. Anyone recognize some of those voices in there? That was Brenna's first animated video I think she did, and I think she did a really good job, so thanks, Brenna. But yeah, that video will be out on our WSCU site starting in September. So hopefully that gives you guys kind of an idea of what the LMS can be used for, what we're currently using it for. But right now, what our main focus is on creating in-house videos, as many as we can. Some of those being, so what's out there right now, some of them are progressive discipline. Your role as a general foreman was launched out to the general foreman. Your role as a lead cuff, interviewing, retirement savings, effective hiring practices, Form I-9. So right now we're working on the Train the Trainer series as well as an ESOP series. So one of our biggest things is we're trying to make these in-house trainings and also make ones that are going to be catered to the corporate office. So some of you are probably wondering, when do we get WSCU or access to the trainings? So anticipated launch for the corporate office is in 2018. So with the Train the Trainer series, as well as the ESOP series, some of those are going to be for the corporate office. I know there's a lot of training that's going on right now just by each of you in this room sometimes. So that video, you'll be able to see the intro video once you first log into WSCU. And then the very long-term goal for training and development is really to cater a blended learning style for all the different companies, departments, and what that really means is kind of utilizing technology, so online courses and videos catered to you guys and what you need. It will take a little bit of time to get there because we do want to do more in-house things just because it relates more to what you guys do on a daily basis. So as we continue though, moving forward with the training and development program, all of you in this room are subject matter experts on something, so don't be surprised if I reach out to any of you, because whether it be a job process or system, we might need that training housed on the LMS eventually. Also, if any of you have ideas for a course that you would like to see on the LMS, if you see a common issue taking place or in the field or in the office, and you feel like a training would be beneficial, don't hesitate to reach out to me. So, do you guys have any questions for me today on the LMS? Who can write, whose voices were in that video? You guys know? Yeah. Brennan did a really good job, I think. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, you guys. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, Brenna, for that video.
Thank you, Emily. Well, I think hopefully, fingers crossed, we're ready to go with Dustin and Josh. First of all, and I'll embarrass Dustin to start with. He's recently married. Got married about 4 weeks ago? Oh, look, he went off screen already. About how long ago, Dustin, you been married? Now, when did that take place?
The 22nd will be a month, so yeah, creeping up on it pretty quick.
All right, congratulations. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started then. First off, either one of you, first off, what does CUF stand for, and what does that really mean? In a few sentences, what do? What does a day look like for you?
Okay, thanks, Derek. I'll take this first question here. So, ultimately, a CUF stands for Consulting Utility Forester, and really the best way to break that down is into the three parts. And so I think first of as a forester, and that's somebody that works in the forest or in timber. Then you throw utility in there, and that has to deal with power lines in this state. And then for consulting, it'd be somebody that uses their expertise to another profession. So ultimately, we're providing our expertise having to deal with trees in relation to the power lines.
Okay. What does a typical day look like for you guys?
What is a difficult day?
A typical day. A typical day.
Typical day.
They're all difficult, I know.
I mean, from a CUF standpoint, you basically signed a section of line to inspect. You do 100% inspection on it. Here in California, we do an annual inspection for every part of the line. So they come into the office, get a map, see where their starting point would be. Then they go out, kind of start looking at the trees near it, the growth patterns, how much they're growing in a year. Are they going to encroach in our minimum of a 4 feet distance? Sign up trees if they need to be trimmed, put them into their computers so that the tree crew would get it. Inform customers, let them know what needs to be done, talk to them about possible removals if we can go that way. But yeah, I mean, a typical day can be walking in people's backyards, or it could be hiking in the middle of nowhere in the snow. So every day can change. So I mean, as far as a typical day, I think the only thing that would be typical would be changed, really.
Okay. So for people that work in the office here, what's the difference between a CUF and a GF?
Okay, so I would say the main difference between a CUF and a GF, the CUF is the individual that is identifying the trees that need to be pruned to keep the distance away from the power line. And a general foreman, that's what a GF stands for. A general foreman is the individual that oversees the tree crew.
our tree crews are 2-man tree crews, and it'll have a groundsman and a foreman, and the foreman would be the supervisor of those, of that crew, and then you'll have the general foreman who will have 5 or 6 crews working in the area, and ultimately he's their supervisor.
Okay, thanks, Josh. All right, when you speak to customers, what are you usually talking to customers about?
The one thing that we always tell people when they start is try and find that common ground with a customer. If you're walking onto a property and all of a sudden you see that they have a 65 Mustang and you're a car person, you kind of get that common ground, kind of calm them down a little bit, and then tell them what you're doing, who you're with. And, a lot of it is, we've been told from our utility that we are kind of the face of the utility. They've gone to smart meters, so customers see us more than they see the actual utility. So we're kind of that liaison between them. So just kind of talk to them, like I said, find that common ground and tell them what we're there for, how we're going to do our job, the approximate time frame that we're looking at, and just trying to be as open and honest with them, answer any questions they may have, and just let them know what their property is going to look like when we're done and the reason why we're there, really.
Great,
Yeah,
okay.
And Derek, let me feed off of that. I feel like one of the biggest task that we have is to educate the customer what we're doing, why we're there, and also a lot of times it's the hardware of the utility that they're seeing. There'll be communication wires or TV wires, and a lot of times the customer can't differentiate that between the high voltage lines. And so it's really just educating the customer as to what they're seeing on their property as far as PG&E assets, communication wires, and then also what our program is and the reason for its existence.
All right, good job, thank you. What's some of the common equipment that CNUC uses on a daily basis?
For each contract's a little different, but generally everybody has some sort of a tablet or iPad, some sort of little computer to use. You're going to have rangefinders, so you can actually get a specific distance on that tree to the line. Obviously pen, pencil.
We have forestry tapes, which will do the diameter of the tree. It basically, you'll wrap the D-tape around the circumference of the tree, and it'll take a measurement from one side to the other, and that's how we'll determine the size of the tree, basically.
Yeah, we're always wearing our PPE, so hard hat vest, and also kind of give that professionalism to the customer, let them know that we're not just some random person knocking on the front door trying to sell them something. It kind of, it really helps us out a lot, actually. Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so what's the most dangerous animal you've seen while working?
We actually, we kind of talked about this yesterday. So we've kind of come up with, personally, I've seen rattlesnakes, bears, dogs. We have had reports of mountain lions that people have seen. Luckily, I have not seen one of those. But realistically, on a daily basis, it'd probably be dogs, and then rattlesnakes, and then, bears don't generally mess with us much. They see us and go the other way, but you're out there by yourself. Any wildlife, really, but yeah, those are probably the big ones. And ticks, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we had a cup that no longer works for us, but she had seen a mountain lion that was, she said she looked over and the mountain lion was crouched down, just kind of staring at her, so that was a scary situation. And then I also had a cup just the other day tell me that he saw a panther. I'm going to say it was like a black lab, but he swears it's a panther.
Yeah, probably in his eyes it may look like, okay, good answer, thank you very much. How does safety play into your job?
Well, safety starts at the top every time. Like I said, we do have our PPE. As we all know, slips, trips, and falls are our biggest concern. So that and driving. So we always make sure that everybody has proper footwear, watch where they're walking, because it is tough that you're always constantly looking up. So we always tell people make sure to look down, stepping on decent areas. And then onto the driving, we always got to make sure to park into the best areas we can, because a lot of times these power lines are running along highways and busy roads, so it's safety is definitely a big priority for us, and we really can't stress enough to the cups how important it is to just stay safe in your everyday life, and you can be as safe as you can, but just watch out for other people as well.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, and I feel that one of the things I really like about CNUC is that it's easy for a company to say that they're safety-based, but the programs that this company has put in place really show that they do care about the safety. We have our weekly conference call where we talk about some sort of safety precaution or some sort of procedure that plays into our daily life. We also have, we get the safety text message every Tuesday where it talks about some sort of safety for the time of the season that we're in, or some advice to take with us during the week. So it really puts forefront on the top of our brain throughout the day and the week, and you're always thinking about safety, because one of our biggest things is the driving, because we have so many people and so much driving that takes place. So it really gives us an opportunity to do a better job at safety on a daily basis.
All right, one last question, then we'll wrap up. What is the culture at CNUC like?
You know, I mean, the culture at this point, it really can't be any better. Well, I mean, I guess it always can be, but it's really high at this point. For instance, I unfortunately just did lose an employee on Friday. He just got offered a better job that he's been kind of going for years. And when he left, he actually said, he's like, you know, the one thing that held me back was that I loved working for this company. You know, the people here, from the management down, everybody gets along, everybody cares about the person. You're not a number. Yeah, Josh, you got anything to add?
Well, I feel like the culture really starts with you, Derek, and I feel like part of it is your willingness to take phone calls or emails from any individual within the company, and it really shows that nobody is unreachable, that we're all in this together, we're all on the same playing field, and that we can all come together to try to meet this common goal. I thought about this question as far as what is culture, and I felt like the easy answer to say would be we have a safety culture here at our company, but really thinking about it more in depth, I think that it has to do with the personability of every individual. I have interest in Dustin not only at work, but in his personal life, and it really brings us together and makes us want to do a better job in it, and it brings teamwork into play. So,
Thanks, guys. Let's give them a round of applause before they hang up here. All right, you guys stay safe out there and have a good day. Appreciate you taking the time. Bye-bye.
thanks.
All right, very good. Okay, moving on the program. The next up is Terry McGonigal. Terry's going to give us an update on the new element of our 401k that you and everyone in our company needs to be aware of. So let's give Terry a round of applause.
I'm going to talk about a change that we're making as of October 1st to our 401k plan. It will not impact all of you, but it will impact some of you. What we are doing is and I think Sarah handed this out, and this is going out to all employees in the next week or so, or all non-union employees. But what we are doing is we are auto-enrolling newly eligible employees into the 401k. And what this means that once you become eligible for our 401k, and remember that's the April 1st or the October 1st after you've been here a year, you will automatically be enrolled in the 401k at a 3% contribution level. In addition to that, if you are not currently contributing, you are currently eligible, but you are not currently contributing at least 3% to the 401k, you will be auto-enrolled up to the 3% level as of October 1st. And I think the effective check date is for the first pay period that ends in October. So I think the first paycheck is something like October 13th will be the first check that this takes effect for. So if you, an example is if you are eligible for the 401k and not currently contributing 0, as of October 13th paycheck, you will be contributing 3%. If you are contributing 2% to the 401k currently, as of October 13th paycheck, you will be contributing 3%. You will be bumped up to the 3% level. If you currently participate in the 401k at the 3% or above level, this will have no impact on you. All right? If you remember right, the 3% level is matched 100% by the company. That match is going into the 401, or I'm sorry, that match is going into the ESOP. So, and that's kind of why we picked the 3% level, so that anyone that we automatically enrolled would get 100% match in the ESOP. For their 100% of their contribution would be matched in the ESOP. Another change we're making is, and again, this just applies for individuals that are impacted by the auto enrollment. You will be increased, that enrollment will be increased 1% each year, effective the first pay period in October. It will be increased 1% each year up to a maximum of 10%. All right, so if you were not participating in the 401k currently, as of October, you're going to be in the 3% level, and October of 2018, you'd be at 4%. October 2015, you'd be at 5%, and on and on and on, up to 10%. All right? That's the automatic piece of it. That's if you do nothing. I want to make it clear that you do have an option to opt out of this program, and that opt-out period will begin September 1st. And you can go either online to the principal website, to your account on the principal website. You can call the 800 number at principal, or what was our other option, Cindy? Are we accepting emails to Cindy if you want to opt out? Yeah. Okay. Something in writing to Cindy that you want to opt out. So let's say you are not currently participating and you don't want to take advantage of the auto enrollment. Anytime after September 1st, you can go one of those three methods, either the website, the 800 number, or contact Cindy. You can say, no, I do not wish to participate in the auto enrollment, and you will not be auto enrolled ever, and the escalator will not apply to you either. All right? The escalator will not apply to you if you make any change between now and the time it reaches 10%. So if you were at the 2% level now, and you went online sometime before October 1st and made it 3%, the escalator would not kick in for you either in 18, 19, or over the next 10 years.
I think that's in September. I think between now and the end of August.
Okay, so if you make a change after September 1st. So any change to your contribution level after September 1st will stop the escalator forever. You will never be escalated. Is that clear? So again, if you're currently participating at the 3% or above level, this will have no impact on you. If you are currently eligible but not participating up to the 3% level, beginning in October, you will be auto-enrolled to the 3%, and you can opt out of that anytime after September 1st. You also have the option of opting out after October 1st by calling the 800 number or going online. I would encourage you, if you don't want to participate in the 401k, try to do it before October 1st. It will be a lot less administrative hassle if you do it before October 1st. If you do it after October 1st, you'll be refunded your money, but it will come in the form of a check from principal, and it'll be more complicated. So we're doing this again. If you remember, going back a couple of years, we decided to reinstitute the match, the 401k match. We feel that your personal financial planning should include a retirement plan, and this is just another way that we're encouraging you and assisting you in planning for your retirement. Questions on that? couldn't have explained it that well. Yes.
So if we're contributing, say, like 4 or 5%, the escalator won't do anything for us? What if we would want it to?
You can always, there is a place online where you can say, I choose to increase my 401k contribution X% every year for the next X number of years. And that's a great way to take advantage of pay increases and that sort of thing. But that's separate from this plan. You could do that whether you're at 3% or 10% or whatever. Yeah, Becky?
So my ears heard right. If you're at 5%, the escalator will never go into effect. You have to actually.
It will never, the automatic escalator will not go into effect, but there is a escalator option on the website that if you want to, you could use. But it will not be done automatically. The only time the escalator would go into effect is if you are below the 3% currently and you never go out there and change it. I mean, even if you changed it from 3% to 3.1%, that will turn off the escalator forever. Any other questions? This applies to all Service Corp employees that are eligible for the 401k. Again, we match the 401k eligibility with the ESOP eligibility. All right, if you have questions, you can call that 800 number at Principal. That's a great source. Or you can track down Cindy or myself. Julie Lee and Austin were in on this too. So track them down if you have a question. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Terry. All right, thanks, Terry. Last up is Scott, who I thought looked really good in that Mad Men suit. I don't know about you guys, but that black suit with the narrow tie, and that was really good. So Scott's going to discuss a new venture that's coming in Barking, and he'll bring it home with the Q&A. So, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks, Derek. I guess I'll start off with the easy questions. Anybody heard any really good rumors around here lately? What'd you hear?
Some division shifting, some company buy-in.
Yeah? Okay. Anything else?
Departments moving around.
Say again?
Departments moving different.
Oh, yeah, we're doing that one too. Actually, what I was hinting at is probably the worst kept secret in here. We have, what was that? Oh, yeah, raise the roof. All right. That's the one I was looking for, right. But anyhow, as part of our longer-term growth strategy, we have made an offer to purchase a company in Canada. There we go. Spectrum Resource Group. They are kind of in our business, but not really in our business. They are more what I would call forest management and timber management. They do work for utilities. They do a lot of right-of-way maintenance. The big difference between Spectrum and us, they don't climb. That's the big difference. Everything they do is on the ground. We've had some conversations. We have made an offer. They have accepted. There's a number of us headed up to, actually it's in British Columbia is their office. Prince George is the name of the city. We're going to head up there and do some due diligence, as they call that. Get to know each other a little bit better. We've met with them a couple of times already. I think it's a really exciting venture for us. It's culturally, I think, other than the fact that they're Canadians and we're Americans, which I'm not 100% sure on all what that means yet, but from a safety aspect and a way they do business, very ethical, very safety focused, I think that's going to be a great fit. They have, during their season, because it is, they have about a 9-month, 10-month season, they peak at about 450 employees or so. They've been around since the mid-'80s. What else do we have? They do work in Alberta as well, so pretty much western provinces. And if it all pulls together and we decide to go forward with it, we'd probably close somewhere around October 1st. Good news for the office. I don't see a lot of impact on our day-to-day. You won't have to worry about processing their payroll. We won't be paying their bills. So from a workload standpoint, at least initially, it'll certainly, you know, fleet and marketing, we're going to look at this as more of the same structure as we have with CN and Wright. As you know, we are the service organization. We provide all that collateral, I guess I'll call it, for all the vertical business units, you know, so that Will and Derek and Travis and Jen can run those business units from what I call a P&L perspective. Bottom line, you know, we're in there to support all those activities so that they can stay focused, get down the line, and grow our business. So from that aspect, there'll be some departments, some interface. I think you know, certainly the executive group, certainly IT, fleet, marketing. But in terms of payroll and general accounting functions, probably not a lot for a little bit. They do have a full staff, and you know, there's really not. I mean, there are synergies and there are some things that we can offer in terms of our purchasing power with fleet. You know, some of our technology aspect, and certainly from the marketing standard that we have. I think we have a lot to offer there. But in terms of really, you know, being able to consolidate overhead and facilities and personnel, it probably doesn't pan out quite like you would see with other kinds of operations. So that's, I think that's about it. Any questions on that? Sure. Oh, size, about 450 employees, between 18 and 25 million a year. So a good sized division. Certainly as that goes, that would rate about number what, 4 in division size, I guess. So it's been a really exciting year. I mean, this is a strategy that we've had all year, is really, Terry and I have kind of kicked around acquisitions. We never really got serious about it. It's not certainly acquisitions are not a be-all, end-all, but if it's a good fit with our business, and I think that one thing that I like is they offer some things that we could bring to the United States. We offer things that we can bring to Canada in terms of the line clearance space. Theirs in terms of the forest management and some of the other things they're doing. So I think there's a really good fit there that we can kind of cross-pollinate a little bit and be able to, you know, continually grow the business. So, you know, I'm really, I know we're running a little over, I guess, but we have a couple of more weeks to finish out the year, and I think this has the potential to be a phenomenal year. We're definitely well on the way. Just as numbers go, which I think sometimes we all live by, right now we're up 23% from a year ago. That's huge, and I think you can kind of see when Derek showed some of the new hires. That's just since the last quarterly meeting that have come on board. So fantastic year from the top end. We still need to deliver it. Don't ever underestimate the impact that you all have on the safety of the people in the field. So, you know, keep in touch with them, remind them to work safe. You know, there's a lot of value in that for their, you know, that we care about their well-being. So, any questions on the acquisition? You know, we'll keep you certainly more up to date as things happen. It's certainly not a done deal yet, but it's getting closer to that. So we'll know a lot more next week. So, okay. Well, now we are in Q&A time officially, so I think everything's on the table. Back in quarter 2, we talked about carrying over the clothing allowance. As of January 1 of 18, we will be allowing the corporate office and Wright Outdoor folks to carry over 1 year's balance. So, in essence, if your balance on January 1st will be whatever you had left from 17, and plus the additional amount that we'll give you for 18. So, to address the question is, yes, we heard you. We figured out a way that Bobby Joe, to get the website to work the way we wanted. We're going to allow you to carry over that balance of 1 year. So if you want to save up for something a little bit fancier or whatever, you can do that now. So whoop, yeah, there we go. Survey feedback. We've decided to implement a new way to address all the questions and comments in the survey. While we love to answer all those questions for the sake of time, this meeting going forward, what do we do? We have to filter them down for the sake of time. So this meeting and going forward, 3 for 3, 3 questions, 3 answers. Okay, now I get it. Sorry, probably should have read the script a little closer. Okay, number 1, when will handbook be released to the corporate office. And that, Austin Julie tells us, target date will be January 1st, 2018. And I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to add to that?
No, not a lot more to add, just that we have rolled out a field handbook within the last couple of years, and this is a continuation of that process. We'll kind of try to standardize things. There will obviously be policies that don't overlap with our field handbooks, but we've tried to keep them as consistent as we can, recognizing obviously the different work environments that we all operate in. So we should have that done here for you shortly. Maybe we can even preview it for you at the next quarterly before it formally rolls out on the first of the year. And we're also rolling out one for Wright Tree Service of the West. So that's all to come.
All right. Thank you. Now, question number 2. I was wondering why the corporate office doesn't offer PTO rather than vacation and separate sick leave, as more companies are doing this.
So I guess take a step back, the concept of PTO, paid time off, personal time off, whatever you want to call it. What that compares against are dedicated buckets of time off, which is the system that we utilize. Dedicated time for vacation, dedicated sick time, and dedicated holidays, I guess. Some PTO systems require that you use your PTO days in order to access holidays. So anyway, always a debate that goes on for employers, which system you use, the dedicated buckets or the paid time off. My personal view of it is that we've elected to use the dedicated buckets because it's typically a more generous approach to time off. PTO is something that's kind of swept the country over the course of the last 10 years and is typically viewed as being more beneficial to the employer because typically it's a skinnier benefit. Oftentimes what you'll see is if you've got dedicated buckets of time, you get in total something approaching, I don't know, let's just call it 22, 25 days. If you have PTO time, you know, the buckets look skinnier because they've, you know, you got, let's say 10 vacation, 7 sick, and 5 holidays or something like that. And then PTO will say, hey, it's a great deal because you get 20 days that you can do whatever with, and you can choose. But the reality is that the employer has shaved off 2 days of time that you had access to. So in total, it's actually typically a skinnier benefit. There's a secondary reason that's a little bit more complicated. States have made PTO more complicated to administer and to accrue for from accounting standpoint. So as a nationwide company, that's a bit of a challenge for us. So we've kept it simpler from a compliance standpoint, sticking with the separate buckets, and also I think it's important to note that it's also a more generous benefit that we've offered. So that's that story.
Oh, that's a good one. Scott. Oh, that was in parentheses. Okay. We do have an answer other than Scott. Ultimately, sound judgment is the best initial measure of proper attire, and if employees have any doubt about a particular item, they should check with their manager in advance. Managers enforce the dress policy and abide by the rules in the dress policy. When enforcing it, managers should go to that employee's manager if they're seeing something that is out of dress code and refer to the policy more details. So I guess the short answer, I guess if it was me, if you have a question about it, don't wear it, or talk to your supervisor before you wear it. I'd ask. I know we went through a lot of hemming and hawing, and you started it all. I'm still looking at you. Yeah, you there, Nicole. I think it seems, generally speaking, I would say it is working. I know we've kind of relaxed it a little bit since the days I started, but I would hope it's more comfortable. It's a good work environment for you. I haven't noticed any really, from my opinion, widespread abuse. So, do you guys have any other comments about it? You don't like it? You want to go back to formal Fridays, or no? Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I don't think tennis shoes are on the policy. And I mean, the thing is, you know it's not on there. I don't, you know, if I don't see it, because I don't get out and walk around, and I'm not going to go look in your cubes, but you know better. Don't wear it. I mean, it's not that hard. Because there's the alternative. We can go back to social life. I mean, you know, a Will shirt's perfectly appropriate where I think we were doing that. Tennis shoes. Anything else? Any articles of clothing that might come clothing? Generally speaking, I think it's probably working here with those people that make it work. I've looked at the managers and they're involved with okay, time for anything else? Anybody have any other questions? Not a one. Okay, so we'll send out a survey in the next couple of weeks. We'll do the 3 for 3 at the next meeting. So fill it out when you see it or when you get it. Thanks in advance for coming.